Today, I was one of the guests of Rose Sklars of Coldwell Banker's podcast. Coldwell Banker has a new program to help sellers called Real Vitalize. Staging in South Florida is becoming a necessity and not an option. Thanks for tuning in to learn more.
Welcome, everybody, to the Weston Connection Podcast. I am Rose Sklars. I will be your host. This podcast is about all things Weston and all things real estate. If you would like to be a guest or have an idea for an episode, please email me at rose@sklarteam.com. Today's podcast topic is the importance of home staging and renovation when selling your property and how our game-changing Coldwell Banker Real Vitalize program can assist home sellers by providing funds up front to prepare the property for sale. Our guests today are Terry Versace, District Manager for Coldwell Banker Weston and Plantation Office, and we have Jill Gold, owner of House Styling and Staging. Welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Thank you.
So, Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin the podcast.
I have been working real estate since 1994, and first as a sales associate, then as a branch manager, and most recently as district manager for Coldwell Banker. 21 years at Coldwell Banker.
And how many of which have I known you, Terry?
About 11.
Awesome.
So more than half.
And I'm part of the family, am I not?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been inducted.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Jill, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm with House Styling and Staging. It's my company. I'm the president. I'm really excited this year. I'm also president-elect of 2020, the Real Estate Staging Association. So I have a lot of connections. I have a lot of camaraderie with other stagers in the community, and we're all super excited. Staging is catching on like fire here in South Florida.
Great, well, congratulations. And I know you've met the Property Brothers and other HGTV personnel.
Candace.
Right, lots of
Correct,
pictures.
Straight guys, all the cool people.
And lots of wonderful social media. We need to follow you on social media as well. What are your taglines?
House Styling and Staging, and I have launched my YouTube channel, and that is catching on like crazy. I am super excited.
As well, I collaborate with Jill a lot, and a lot of her videos are also on my YouTube channel as well. Just look for Rose Sklars or the Sklar team. Okay, so let's begin. We all agree that prepping a home for sale is imperative today when selling a home, okay? So, especially with all the buzz, like I said, about HGTV. So what we need to talk about is why is staging so important, Jill?
You have to present your property in the best way to buyers. Buyers need to see pretty things in a house, and because they watch HGTV, the expectations are very high now. Buyers, when they walk into a house, they go through a checklist of yes and no's. So we want them to check the yeses in their mind and not check the no's. The no's are areas of concern, work that needs to be done, anything that's unsightly, dirty. Things need to be addressed to market your home in the best way for sale.
So let's say, what would be the top 3 things they should do when they first decide to list their home?
Well, they should listen to their realtor and their broker. But it is hard because when you're talking to your seller, you don't want them to take it personal.
Correct.
And we're not talking to them personally. We just want to market their home for sale in the best
Because
way.
you would say, as a realtor, I've been doing this for quite a long time, I always notice that when I first walk in, color, cleanliness, decluttering, clean windows.
Yeah.
Once that stage is set, then we move on to what's gonna wow the client so they don't say, as I've heard you say, from ew to
Wow.
there you go. I've heard that, and it works.
If I may interject also, there's a point. One thing is a house to live, and another one is to present it to the public. It's how you display your home when it's on the market that is really important so that the buyer identifies with the home. And it's another thing, that warm and fuzzy throw that you keep on your couch to watch TV.
It needs to be presented clean like a hotel because buyers want to live the idyllic lifestyle, and we all do. We don't want to step into somebody else's problems and mess.
Exactly. So you need to take off your owner glasses and put on your buyer
Disassociate yourself emotionally with the home to get your buyer to emotionally attach to your home.
How about as far
That's where it
as
starts.
personal photographs? How do you feel about that, Jill?
Oh, definitely. Anything personal should be removed. Plaques, awards, family photos, wedding photos, baby's first steps, to give you an example.
How about drapes and light fixtures?
Well, that's the first thing. Light, bright, and airy. The brighter the house is, the more marketable it is, and the better feeling buyers have. I get that question all the time when I say to remove dated drapery. They say, but there'll be nothing on the window. They see after, when we take it down, the effect it has on the room, and they always will say, should I save it? I said, you can save it if you just want to look at it, but a buyer has never requested to even see what draperies look like.
I agree. Now, one other thing before I get into the Real Vitalize program. What about renovations in the house? Do you feel that they're worth it? Are there any areas that we should focus on?
You know, it's hard because when sellers make that decision to sell the house, they don't want to put new kitchens or anything big in the house. Sometimes it needs to be addressed, like if it's a roof issue or there's broken things in the home. They have to address it. But the biggest bang for your buck is to paint the interior. If the interior was painted more than 5 years ago, chances are it is a dated color.
And Jill, what are the colors for 2020?
2020 blues, we're still strong with the blues. The white kitchens are still popular. The organic elements in the home are huge.
How am I doing with this color? Okay.
Canvas tan.
All right, still okay.
Yeah, it's still okay.
So now I want to switch over to Terry, because one of the main reasons I wanted you guys here today is to discuss our brand new program that is game changer in the real estate industry, Real Vitalize. And what this does is this allows the sellers to get the money up front to fund the renovations that they need and the staging that they need, with no hidden fees, no interest, no liens, pay at time of closing. So Terry, tell us about this game-changing Real Vitalize program.
As we've been discussing, it is quite important for a seller to present their property in a way that is attractive to the buyers. And the reason for that is because you're going to yield much more. Time on the market is going to be short, stress of having to show the house is shorter. So Coldwell Banker has come up with this Real Vitalize program to help our sellers. We believe so much that this is an important part of selling your home that we are willing to front the money, front the opportunity, give the sellers an allowance based on the list price of their home to work with licensed vendors. And we have partnered with that with Home Advisors. For those of you that do not know Home Advisors, they're the largest network of licensed vendors. From stagers like Jill, I believe you're a part of Home Advisors.
She's on Home Advisors, we made sure.
And to plumbers, to painters, to anything in between, landscaping. So it's important for a seller sometimes to even use these dollars to perform a home inspection at time of listing, so they know what issues have become kind of natural for them, but may be a cause of concern for a buyer.
Are there any items that are not included?
Structural. They will not add a bedroom to your home. They will not put a whole new roof. They will fix a bedroom that needs painting, that needs
light fixtures,
a new light fixture and things of that nature. But they will not make a 3-bedroom house a 4-bedroom house. That is what we refer to as structural.
And I also understand they will not do anything with the pools. Are you? I'm not sure about.
They're not going to add a pool. They're not going to be doing major pool work. Remember, what we're trying to do is get your home as appealing as possible to the buyer, today's buyer, to be able to come in and move in worry-free. We live in a society that is very worry-free. So if you present a home that all I have to do is bring my personal belongings and make it mine, that is valuable. That yields more money. So the seller can in turn say, I'm going to sell my house for more money than the house that's not staged, that the house that's not presented well.
So Jill, how does that sound to you? Now knowing that we can get the money up front.
Well, we already know it's working. The
Yes, we
first
do.
one went under contract immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really tough for the sellers who already moved
Correct.
to be able to do that because they were supporting 2 properties.
Well, I was so excited to hear about this program. In fact, I was really pushing to get it down here in Florida. It's a pilot program, and we were able to get it here, right, Terry?
I want to say that at the time it wasn't in all markets, and Rose influence in the marketplace, because she is an influencer in our marketplace. She has been doing it, and she knows what the sellers needs, and she knew that this program was the answer to what sellers need in this marketplace. So her pushing, her insisting, we were able to bring it to Southeast Florida as one of the first markets that Coldwell Banker has launched this program, and since then it's gone national because it is so successful. It is worry-free, but it also partners the sellers with vendors that they trust, which in turn can be represented to the would-be buyer that it wasn't someone that just came and brushed off something. It's someone that actually was licensed, insured, that took care of preparing this home for them.
And another thing,
And it's these days you have to prepare the home for sale.
yes, you do.
Buyers don't have time. They have busy styles. Many of them have children, and they can't go into the house and start picking paint colors when they have just moved their things in.
2-job families. Yeah, it's really important, and that's why I push so hard and so long. And Jill and I have we've got a closing coming up in less than 2 weeks. We got the furniture in. I convinced the sellers. We used the Revitalize program. I'm getting ready to close it out in less than 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a move out, and I'm sure, Jill, it'll be all over your YouTube channel, won't it now?
It definitely will.
Another question I wanted to ask is how long should you allot for renovations or, let's say, staging, typically from beginning of contract when you sign off on your contract, Jill? How long does it typically take you to stage a home?
Well, we are staging homes in 1 day. We're preparing, it takes us about a week to prepare the plan. We go into the home, stage the home, and it's ready for photos.
So you're quick and easy. Lickety split. That's you, Jill.
We're fully set up to stage any type of property.
Now I'm going to speak to the renovation time because I've been dealing with it. Currently, I have 4 homes preparing to come launch on the market within the next few weeks. Depending on what you do, it takes a little longer. I was able to get many of my contractors on the Home Advisor platform, which made me feel really good about it. And it's been moving along smoothly and swiftly. We've been renovating floors, bathrooms, new countertops and kitchens, paint jobs, staging, and so much more.
Obviously, the staging takes about a day from plan to staging. Renovating floors may take a few more days.
Correct.
But what we found is that sellers are seeing the value, and sellers are saying, now that I don't have to front this money, that I don't have to take it out of my bank account until it closes, until closing, I don't have to pay this back.
So those that are equity rich, this works great for you. You've got all the money tied up in your home,
But
and you need to use it
And
to.
it probably doesn't show against their credit.
No, because there's not a lien on the house, there's not a credit check. Coldwell Banker is doing this investment together with the seller. The seller is trusting us to list their home, to put it on the market, to market it for them, to give them the biggest exposure. Rose here is a pro at it through this podcast, through social media, print, TV, you name it. She covers every angle of marketing a home. So we're saying to a seller, we want to partner with you. And we actually label this Real Vitalize program under our marketing department because it's also part of marketing the home. It's an added component that has become imperative in today's marketplace to help. Again, I have to reiterate, it helps everyone. It helps the buyer because they're moving in worry-free, but it also helps the seller because they're selling their homes faster and for higher net dollars.
And statistically, it's at least 4 times more they're going to get back for their staging investment and any repairs or paint that they do to the property. Buyers will subtract at least double for any of the work that needs to be done in the home.
That is correct. Even with the inspections, I find that if the sellers address the issues before we list, we go through inspections with there's nothing coming up, because by the way, if somebody finds something wrong, they're going to double that price. They're going to get 3 estimates one higher than the next. If we take care of it in advance, you're not paying for it only at closing. It makes sense. I've now put staging and renovating, and Real Vitalize is a part of every marketing presentation that I make.
We're a
moving
very
forward.
visual society.
I also think even when inspections do come, it's easier for the seller to go ahead and use the Real Vitalize dollars to make those repairs and not have to worry about fronting money before closing, which oftentimes a buyer may ask, hey, I need this repair before closing. Well, the seller is saying, well, if you don't show up to the closing table, I'm risking. This way, the seller is still doing what the buyer wants, so it saves deals. It takes away the what if, what's going to go wrong. It makes it so much easier and smoother.
And when they see the house staged, they become emotionally attached to the house. There's more successful closings when they are emotionally attached to the house.
Many times they want to buy your staging. Am I correct, Jill? I
Yes,
know many times.
Many times recently, the whole entire.
And how does
the
that work for
knickknacks and
you?
The fake TVs.
We even have fake lemonade and tea. You know, I actually bought my staging in a home I actually purchased on the east side of town. I moved in, I said, you know what, I'll take it all. I just got a new mattress, done.
I want to also add that it's helping sellers go on the market, because you're thinking, I want to put my house on the market, but oh my gosh, I have to do so much. What I have done, because I do track numbers, is that our inventory this January compared to January of last year is 45% higher of new listings entering the market. So we're helping sellers make that decision to go ahead and put their home on the market, because now they don't have to wait to save the money to get Jill to come to their home up front. We're taking care of that initial investment, and they only pay once they collect the money on the proceeds of their home.
So, and another thing, it takes a lot of the stress out of maybe if you're going to do painting or renovating or whatever you might do, because the concierge program, they handle the phone calls, the emails, the getting, if you're not happy with the price, we'll get you another estimate. And there's a team that's assigned to your property.
That's just it. You have a home advisor assigned to you and your property. And from there, they will send vendors, but the seller has to say as to which vendors they want, which vendors make sense to them.
They're getting expert advice, because many times when I go into a property, they're very happy to say they painted. Unfortunately, they painted a color that was popular 10 to 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we either have to work with it or have them repaint. So it can be very expensive if you don't have the experts to start out with. And really, this program, you're both experts in your field.
Mm-hmm.
Many times they've had other agents and they've failed the other agents to sell the house. So this program is, you're getting the experts, and the houses are selling immediately. When they're priced right, they present right, they're as good as sold.
I want to segue also to online showings. For us, a showing of a property doesn't just happen when the buyer physically sets foot in the home, but it starts online.
Mm-hmm.
So having the home staged, having the proper photography, having that exposure yields more online showings. More online showings yield more foot traffic into your home. And we see homes that are not staged are not the ones that a buyer is saving as a preferred listing on any of the internet sites. They're not saving it as favorites.
Because they look at the furniture, right?
They're looking at the furniture, they're looking at the style, and they're looking, does it appeal to me? When a home is staged, those homes are marked as favorite that much faster and much more often.
More clicks, really. They get much more clicks. I also wanted to mention that, let's say you don't paint and we need to work within a budget. I've done this in the past. So Jill can still work because she's got such a decorator's eye. Maybe she could, let's say you took this room that I'm in. Hey, maybe I should paint it gray. It might look better. But I need to work with what I got. So you're going to add what?
I would probably just add, we were talking about the blues.
Yep.
I'd put
I
some more
want
blues in
blue
here.
hair.
I would just put different rugs, different artwork, different pillows, and it changes the dynamics
Correct.
of the room. You have great transitional furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And many homes do, but we need to take it up a notch
So
to
if,
sell it. You're
so
not
if they
selling
have a
to the
budget, we can work within it, typically.
Yes. Or an accessory packages are available.
So let me tell you a little bit about how it works. Typically, I'm going to go in for a listing appointment. I'm going to present to my sellers my marketing strategy, my PR strategy, and I'm going to always push for staging and renovation. I think it helps sell everything. I have a very low days on market. I've sold so many homes, continue to sell homes, and I know it works, so I do push it. But the most important thing is that I walk the room with my client, and I'm eyeballing everything I think that needs to be done. It might be, let's pop in some LEDs. Let's get some bright light in here. Okay, it could be
recommend
as
it all
simple
the time.
as changing a light fixture. It makes a huge difference. Even if you have maybe $1,000 to work with, the Real Vitalize program can help you. If you got a little bit more, staging, depending on the square footage of the house, will vary. Can we talk a bit about that? How about staging the backyards, Jill? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think you're selling the entire house. Everything should be staged.
Mm-hmm.
We usually don't stage the secondary bedrooms because we don't know if they have kids.
Correct.
And we want to make it cost effective.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. What about the front door? The landscaping, the curb appeal. How
Yes,
important is that?
It just has to look neat and tidy everywhere that their eyeballs are going to hit.
Any stager tricks or tips that you could share?
Cover the most surfaces in a clean, neutral color. That's where you have to start every project and address repairs. Then we can come in and stage it and sell it quick.
Perfect. So anything else that anybody could add to this podcast that might help our listeners?
Well, I would say if you're thinking of selling, you need to call Rose Sklars.
I'm here.
She has the partnerships, the team, the tools, the resources. And again, as a seller, start thinking that once your house goes on the market, it becomes a product. It's no longer a home. So you have to make sure that you make that product as appealing as that dress that you just bought, the way it was displayed in the store, caught your eye. So your home has to catch the eye of the buyer.
It's a large ticket item that has to be properly packaged for sale, like any product.
Okay, well, so just as a recap, the Real Vitalize program, exclusively from Coldwell Banker, would cover home staging, landscaping, lawn maintenance, carpeting, flooring, deep cleaning, paint, remodeling, plumbing, and electrical, not to include new roof, home additions, or non-related services like, let's say, moving costs. But wow, that's a lot to offer our clients out there in 2020.
Touching a lot
We're
of
hitting
services.
it. We're coming in strong, and I'm looking forward to working with many of you, hopefully. Last plug, Jill, let everybody know where we can find you.
Find me at House Styling and Staging. I'm on Facebook, House Styling and Staging, and I'm in Weston a lot.
I love
Selling
using you.
everything.
Anything else, Terry, that you'd like to bring to the table?
Well, I would like to bring to the table that our Coldwell Banker Weston office leads the market, and now you can see why. Because of the tools, the way we partner with agents. So we have a great team here represented by one of our leaders in the industry, and we're here to serve you.
And I'm really proud to be working for Coldwell Banker Weston, available with my team from Weston to the beaches. If you'd like to follow us, follow Sklar Team or Rose Sklar. Just type us into Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and more. And thank you for joining us at our podcast.
And thank you for watching.
Can't wait to see you next time.
We are on location every week, so please check out all our episodes.